Record will start soon. That's what I said. Yay. Putting re-recording. All right. So here we go. This PowerPoint is the 20th century and beyond. This PowerPoint is units 7, 8, and 9. This PowerPoint is 1,083 slides. Here we go.
Wait, that means 1,083 slides until like for now, right?
Yeah.
That's not too bad for 3 units.
No, it's not bad at all. And if my math is correct, today is Friday, so there are 20 school days until your exam. All right. Yes. This is unit 7. Yep. Yep. I can tell you in just a second. If you wait to the end, I'll pull it up. I'll pull up the College Board thing, and I'll let you know. Okay. Since there is no FIFA today, during lunch, I will explain the review shower curtain thing.
Called global conflict.
There you go. All right. Are you going to play now? Okay. Thank you. See, that's to the person who I bought it from. All right. All right. Here we go. That is definitely World War II. All right. So, that's why. Okay. Global conflicts and their consequences. Here we go. All right. Now I don't feel so bad. That's not. All right. A. Causes of World War I. All right. I love this war. It sounds so odd, I know. Okay. Why just do it? Because it's romantic. It's the last romantic war.
Yeah, but
Just is when you went and fought because it was noble, and you went and you just did. I don't know. And there's something brutally, and there's something in the futility. There's beauty in the futility of it. It's Shakespearean and it's tragedy. It's just art in a horrific way.
yeah, it's completely.
All right. Several factors contributed to the outbreak of the Great War, or World War I, or the First World War, or the war to end all wars. Whoops. But that's what it was called.
The war construction of the war.
Or part 1 of one big war. That's what my other world history kids are writing a paper on. Yes or no? All right. And it begins in 1914. And it begins, well, in a nutshell, have you ever had someone's back and wish you hadn't?
Yep.
That's this. That's World War I. If you ever said you would support someone or back somebody up, it didn't have to be with your fists. And then you realize that was probably a bad mistake. Well, that's this. Because of alliances that we don't spend a whole lot of time going over, because they go all the way back to the 1600s and the 1700s, these economic alliances and political alliances. As soon as one punch is thrown, everybody's in. And yes, I will be reading World War I as a bar fight on Monday because it's so funny. All right. So by the late 1800s, aggressive nationalism became a source of tension. Germany is new, and they are all in to be in Germany, and they are all in to being. I guess they want to be the man. They're the new kid who shows up at school. They're, oh gosh, can't remember his name in Stranger Things. Not Steve. Steve's the best guy on the whole show. It's the brother of the redhead girl, Billy. They're Germany's Billy. All right.
I like Billy.
All right. Anyway.
That's the only reason.
All right. So he's announcing his presence with authority. Okay. And there are rivalries that already exist, and this nationalism and this industrialism, and with industry comes bigger, better, stronger armies, comes tension, and industrialization needs resources. And that tension is also why they peacefully figured out a way to carve up other people's homelands so that they wouldn't have to fight over them. Germany's industrial capacity, population, and military power all increased. Like I said, they sought its place in the sun. They sought its place at the table. Yeah, England and France, I'm looking at you. Jawohl, that's good. Why not? They've been economic power since the 1640s, when there were a bunch of little states, and the Peace of Westphalia happened. Sounds so much like college. Okay. France wanted to regain its powerful position in Europe. It sought revenge against the Germans for what happened in the Franco-Prussian War, the war between France and what was Prussia and now Germany. So France wants to reestablish itself, herself, because all countries are women, as the belle of the ball, the queen. Bless you. I guess I should have said that tastefully since we were in France. As the Ottoman Empire loses control of the Balkans and the peninsula, that becomes a powder keg for competing national interests. All these places begin recognizing that they are Bulgarian, Romanian, Serbian. And independent movements start to foster, or they're just picked off by other empires for their own benefit. Bulgaria, let's see who else, Serbia, Macedonia, which is now a new country in 2021. Okay.
What is it?
It's like Northern Macedonia. Yeah. That's where Alexander the Great came from.
Oh, that's not.
Well, sometimes simple is best.
That's
Where did it used to be?
Macedonia. But it's like it was the part. It was just. It's trying to get back to its Alexander and Alexander's father, whose name escapes me in a moment. That kind of roots, like Czech Republic, no longer Czech Republic. All right. Then you got Eastern Slavs, Western Slavs, and Southern Slavs. Oh my. Pan-Slavism. What's that mean? Like a cross, or yes, spreading. Sought cooperation amongst all the Slavic peoples in Eastern Europe, and they all support independence from the Ottoman Empire. This is why Arch Franz Duke Ferdinand was in Serbia in the first place. Yes. Their culture, their ethnicity, Slavic peoples, language, it's a language family. In fact, it was all, I was trying to find more memes today. I've had that wrong turn meme. I've been waiting for this unit to use it, and I have another one about group project work. But a lot of memes, like the who would win memes, I don't get. They're not funny. And then a lot of people said the World War I was fought over a sandwich. Anyway, I don't understand people. Ukrainians and Belarusians are right there. Here we have Serbs, Bulgarians, Croats, Bosnians, Slovenes, Macedonians, and Montenegrins. A lot of those places will become Yugoslavia, but that's historical foreshadowing. And here we have Poles, Czechs, Slovaks, and Silesians. Finally, all words I can pronounce without problem. I listened to the Japanese guy pronounce Meiji what?
So when they say they're seeking cooperation, does that mean they want to create one Slavic nation, or they just want peace between them?
No, they all want their own independent states, but since they are all Slavic peoples, they should support one another in their independent endeavors. Yes, it's a good question. All right. Don't ask. And then there's Austria-Hungary, who has a little bit of these Slavic peoples in them, and they like being, well, first of all, we'll get to it. They like being Austria-Hungary, the last little bastion of the Holy Roman Empire. Austria-Hungary opposed Pan-Slavism, obviously, and all nationalist movements, while Russia supported Slavic people in the Balkans, like Serbia. Well, that's going to become important down the road. I'm sorry. There you go. In 1908, gosh, we're in the 20th century. That never happens this soon in world history. Austria annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina. We know what annex means. This is a Slavic region formerly under Ottoman control. So this is part of the benefits of the Ottoman Empire being that weak man, the sick man of Europe. Austria-Hungary just picked them off and added them to its own little nest, if you will. And this angered the Serbs because the Serbs, not really feeling it.
Wasn't it already part of the Ottoman Empire?
Yes, but now it's the Austro-Hungarian Empire it's part of. It took it from the Ottomans. Okay. What's your question, Ben?
Why are they angry? Everything's part of another one.
Well, no. That's Bosnia. Okay. These are the people who are mad. Because there's cultural differences here. And because they want independence. They don't want to be part of anything. They didn't want to be part of the Ottomans. Now you're going to take me. Yes.
So Austria-Hungary, Austria are the same thing at this point, like.
Austria, as we know, like Edelweiss, Sound of Music, comes about after this war.
Okay. So Austria-Hungary is just
One big thing. And they let Hungary have a little more, I don't know if this was going to say, they let Hungary have a little more autonomy within itself so that they wouldn't leave. So they let them have a little bit of sort of like a home rule.
It's kind of like Austria's in charge and then Hungary's like attached.
Yeah, and they wanted to do that so they would stay attached. Yes?
But why didn't that anger the Ottomans?
Because they weren't in a position, because the Ottomans are dealing with Ataturk and the whole young Turks and becoming Turkey, and they have their own issues going on, that it was just because it was so sickly and so falling apart, it was just easy to do. It's just picking from a carcass. They weren't in a position to fight back, really. Oh, whoops. So, militarism, the glorification of military power, combined with war planning, resulted in fear and distrust among nations. There's a book that I've meant to, yes, Ben. Oh, there's a book that I've meant to read. I picked it up a couple of times. I've started it. You have to have a map with you when you read it. It's called The Guns of August, and it deals with Europe on the brink of the First World War. And Kennedy read it, and Kennedy referenced it in a movie talking about how basically none of the leaders want to be the first one to pull the trigger, but they're all planned for it. They're all armed for it. This thing is just in motion. Nobody really wants it, and they don't know how to stop it. Like there's this political inertia at work here, and this war is going to happen. Like they have tried to dance around it and not deal with it and be peaceful, and it's just sort of like in American history. We compromised with the government, compromised with the South, cut to try to put off war, and eventually it's just going to happen.
Do you think that's gonna happen with us?
No. Yes.
So is America preparing for it?
No.
Or
We're
are they not
isolationists.
worried about it?
Europe's. That's their issue. They're always fighting each other. Those are crazy uncles. No. Our whole goal under Wilson was isolation. Now, we sold stuff to both sides until England said, really? Until England called us out and made us choose a side. But yeah, we sold stuff to the Germans. We didn't care. Buy our stuff. All right. Nations saw military strength rather than diplomacy as a way to gain goals. See, that's not good. That's going to lead to problems. No, I don't think Russia's an issue, nor do I think Korea is an issue. We can talk more about that class when I see you in 3 years and that. Okay. 2 years. Or 3, depends on your schedule. All right. They look so happy. That's definitely not August 1914 in that drawing. It's just all, but it's all one color. So I don't think it's that.
I mean, like this one.
Fair enough. An arms race, a weapons buildup, for those who don't know what that is, occurred between powerful European nations, especially Britain and Germany. Especially. Germany's building to catch up, and England's building to stay ahead. The immovable object and the irresistible brute. All right, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. That's a lot of shells. Just saying. And when you think about that, today in 2021, there is still unexploded ordnance on the fields of Belgium and France, like in the ground, places that didn't go off, but they're still alive.
So, are people like working to get rid of that?
They don't know where they are, really.
They can't just like drop something heavy.
Well, I guess you could, but like, yeah, to dig those out as old as they are, it just makes a park that much more exciting. I went to the park today. If they knew where they were.
No, like a.
Oh, just in general? Yeah,
Before they
okay.
terraform, they put like safety barriers.
Right. Or in more recent times, landmines are outlawed. Geneva Convention outlawed landmines 20 years ago. You still make them, but there are landmines all over the world that haven't been tripped yet. Kids think they're toys and pick them up and blow hands off. I mean, they're all over the place. Yeah.
I remember this. I read a book where they were training.
You read a book?
Yeah, they were training rodents to sniff out landmines.
Rodents?
Rodents, yeah. I don't know why.
Oh, that maybe because they can dig. I guess if you could get moles, dude.
Yeah.
Groundhogs. Groundhogs? No, I know, but I guess the thinking is, it's just a mouse.
Yeah, I think it might have been a rat, maybe. I'm not quite sure.
Well, that's good too, because remember, like I said, if the rat's head can get in the hole, the rest of the body will follow. Probably, yeah. Yeah. Germany's Kaiser Wilhelm II began building up the Navy because for the longest time, Britain was the bell standard. Britain was the Navy, and Germany wants to, see if they can keep up.
What is the Britain still is Germany? The best name.
No,
What happened to it?
we happened to it.
No, during this time.
Oh, during this time? Yeah. Okay, yeah. We did. Okay.
What is the Kaiser?
Title.
Is it like a king or is it like a president?
Yes. Der Kaiser. Remember, Germany was all into that whole Metternich one ruler autocratic kind of thing. All right. I'm just glad we're up to the point in history now where there's like photographs. All right.
Yeah, Kaiser in German literally means emperor.
There you go.
We had photographs laughing at you.
Well, that's because we were getting to the 20th century. Increased tension led to the creation of mutual defense alliances. This is it. If I get attacked, you got me, right? If you get attacked, I got you. Right? You good? Okay, good. We're good. All right. But only by those people. If they attack me, you don't have to defend me. But if they attack me, it's just crazy. These alliances.
What?
Yeah. Nations agreed to defend each other in case of attack. In 1882, Bismarck formed a military alliance with Austria-Hungary and Italy called the Triple Alliance. That's creative. All right. Oh, and you'll notice a trend with Italy. They like Germany. They like Germany, and they always check the wind and see which way the war's going. They're like, psych, yay, allies. Okay. Italy. And then also another trend is this map right, this little place right here, always white. Switzerland's always white. Never gets involved. All right. So part of the Triple Alliance, and again, Article 1, countries mutually promise peace and friendship, will enter into no alliance or engagement directly against any of the others. In case Italy, without direct provocation on her part, should be attacked by France, the other two countries shall be bound to lend assistance. The same obligation shall devolve upon Italy in case of any aggression. Basically, this is all about France. The Triple Alliance is all about Germany. This is really, it's all about. If Kaiser probably drew this up, wanting assurances that if France did something, they would be protected, or if it looked like France is the one who started it, they would be protected. Italy called the Triple Alliance. Okay, here we go. Bismarck created the Three Emperors League with Austria-Hungary and Russia. He's covering his bases. But this just drew Austria-Hungary into whatever is going on with Russia, and it could very well draw Russia into the other alliance with respect to France. I don't know the wording of all these documents. I don't read German. I'm sure there were more. Oh, yes. Bismarck's network of alliances surrounded Germany with allies while diplomatically isolating recently defeated France. Poor France. All right. Yeah.
Why'd they become allies with Russia if they just fought them out?
Well, different leadership, and they're not communist yet. Remember, and they're all related. Like King Edward and Nicholas II, and then either the Kaiser or
I think it's
Wilhelm, I think it's Wilhelm, are all like second cousins. And if you look at a picture of Nicholas II and King Edward, they look the same. Remember, if you're a royal, your selection pool is really shallow, which is why a lot of kings had children who were mentally infirm, because they weren't getting a wide swath of genes, and they were all more or less inbreeding. Yeah.
there's a you watch The Crown on Netflix?
I do not watch The Crown.
Okay. Well, they talk about it's like cousins of the queen.
Right.
Yeah. Who had like mental problems because of England.
Yeah, because you're only allowed to associate or marry certain people. Hence the problem with Mark. It's not the only one, but it's the only one I'm going to talk about today. All right. Kaiser Wilhelm forced Bismarck's retirement and ended diplomatic relations with Russia. So now you do see that whole change. But, which probably means that part of the treaty is null and void. So yeah, they force Bismarck out. He was like the first chancellor. He was our blood and iron guy. Wilhelm has a different view of where Germany should go and how you deal with things. He's probably feeling fairly confident about his military and the direction he wants to take Germany. So he just kind of says, I think it's time to retire. You served us a long time. You'll spend your salad days with your family. I've never understood that term. Anyway. In 1894, France forms a military alliance with Russia. Further dividing up Europe into blocks of one side versus the other. What this also tells you is which countries are the healthiest in a way, which countries are better positioned to move forward, which countries feel more threatened by another country because of resources or goals or things of that nature. Because you don't hear anything about those places, because that's all part of the Ottoman Empire. You don't hear anything about Switzerland. Belgium's barely a country, and they got the Congo, so they're happy. No, not yet. Oh yeah, they do. Or they're neutral, like they have no part in this. And then there you go, the Franco-Russian arrangement. Very nice. War makes strange bedfellows. That's what they're saying there. Okay. Oh, look. Look.
Well, the Kaiser.
No. Look at the picture. It's the meme.
Whoa.
The one where the guy's always looking at the other girl. Like that's
I didn't know what picture you're pointing to.
the only picture here.
There's three.
Oh, come on, Dan. Which one of these looks like a meme?
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Oh, I just saw it. I'm like, holy, look, he's looking back. Anyway,
One of the guys looking like you.
but well, right. But I'm just saying, but like, did the person who took that one picture, like, was it an homage to this? That's cool. Sorry. Oh, I'm thinking.
Both countries is that it's Germany.
That's Germany. That's England. That's France. All right.
So France left Germany.
No, they're looking at him suspiciously.
So it doesn't really relate to the.
No, but it's
And books, Lucas. Not
It confused me.
sorry. Britain abandoned a policy of splendid isolation by signing a deal with France called the Entente Cordiale. And the Kaiser doesn't care. Do you like the stash? That's a legit stash. All right. Vive longtemps. United we stand. Very nice. There it is. Oh, they're dancing. That's lovely. Okay. Yes, I can, and I will.
Wait, what did that deal entail? Like, was it more of like an alliance, or was it more?
Yeah,
Okay, so it was almost like.
it's all of that. Yeah, we're good, right? We're good. I got you, you got me. Again, I told you this war is all about having too many backs. Stay with us, Big Sam. All right. Britain then signed an agreement with Russia. So now we have the triple entente. Because remember, France signed with Russia, Britain signed with France. So Britain's like, okay, and Britain signs with Russia. And on the other side, Germany and Italy and the Austro-Hungarian Empire have signed on the stuff. And then one more person has to join, and we're all set. Yes, Lucas.
Oh, that I was spectrum.
Oh, I know. Okay, see, okay, fair enough. Just checking. Anybody with questions out here? You know, you people out here can. You people here. Where am I? You can't. I can't see. Is this one on? No. You people can ask questions too. You know. All right. Why is that one on? Anyway. All right. That's me.
So the last one is the last one in the triple on top. There it is.
Yeah. Yep. In World War II, that'd be the Allied powers. All right. Their navy. It's an anchor.
Russia is the like.
The Orthodox, and then France has the heart because France. It's the heart of Europe. I don't know.
Isn't that at the French Revolution?
It is.
Do most these alliances carry over into World War II?
Except for the Russia thing.
Except for Russia.
Because remember, Russia's going to leave the war before that. They have issues at home. Okay. All right. Now, yes, colonial possessions at the eve of the First World War. If you are a colonial possession, you are expected, and you will, fight for the home team. This was a true, the French and Indian War is the 7 Years' War was probably the first global world war, but this involved so many more people. All right. Imperialism, especially in Africa and the Pacific, further inflamed European rivalries and tested alliances. Well, of course, it's especially in Africa and the Pacific. Most of the Americas is independent. Dumb bracket. Anyway, it's okay.
They talk about Canada, but I don't think so.
Right, but that's not this half of the world. Yes, remember Canada got its independence. It was just part of the Commonwealth. It was the Dominion of Canada, and then it's a free state. All right, Dominion of Canada. Germany was relatively late in joining the whole global colonization effort, and they competed with Britain and France for what was left. What did they get? Cameroon, Germany, East Africa, as it's aptly named, Togoland. And then anything else down there? Oh yeah, German Southwest Africa. Ooh.
But then Britain came to Tanzania.
Yeah, as they call
Germany.
it. All right, there's the Belgian company. Cartoon suggesting Bismarck was asleep as European powers began carving up the world. Very nice. Yeah,
I guess they're there.
sit where? No.
What is Bismarck's role? Because he's not the guy.
This was back when he was Kaiser. The land grab, the African grab, he was Kaiser. Now he's just
The
retired.
other guy was kind of he still
He was like trying to get inspiration.
Yeah, he has some lesser role. Yeah, it's the every other seat rule, my brother. You can slide down there and plug in. All right, just don't trip. Okay. In 1905, Germany challenged French claims to Morocco. The Moroccan crisis served to served to strengthen the Triple Entente against Germany. And if you want, if you want to know more about the whole Moroccan French situation, you can always watch Casablanca. Sneaky good movie. African soldier waving German flag. Technically speaking, well, I don't know of what nation he is, of which he is a member, or you could say a Cameroonian soldier waving a German flag, or a West German, but an African soldier. Sir,
What is Casablanca about? Like what basic?
it's a love story. Takes place in Morocco during the Second World War, and it's about spies and Nazis and French resistance. Just looking at you, kid. All right. If you touch me, I'll. If you make a move, I'll. If you hit that little feller, I'll. If you strike my friend, I'll. If you hit me, I'll. Hi there. If you don't mind, that's got to be the United States. All right. Two rival alliances now confronted each other. A dispute between any two powers would escalate into a major war because of alliances and agreements. And there are countless other alliances that were made between other countries and these countries, between just two of these countries. And these alliances have been going on from the 17th century, 18th century, and they get amended and changed. So this is always going on. The entire able-bodied population are preparing to massacre one another, though no one, it is true, wants to attack. And everybody protests his love and peace and determination to maintain it. Yet the whole world feels that it only requires some unforeseen incident, some unpreventable accident, for the spark to fall in a flash and blow all Europe sky high. Yep. I told you it was you.
Before the
Huh?
foreshadowing.
But if you pay attention to everything we've discussed and everything that you read, all the different motivations for the behavior of the European places, their involvement in other parts of the world, eventually you're going to run out of places to go. You're going to run out of resources. And the only thing left to do is to compete against yourselves. Plus, you have a history of a church and a split from the church and the making of another church. And you have marriages of convenience throughout history. It's just so interwoven. The fact this didn't happen sooner, I would argue analogous to why Europeans didn't invade Africa sooner. They just didn't have the means. Now they have the means to blow Europe sky high. Yeah,
So to the question on the board, you'd say yes.
I would. Yeah, I'd say World War I was inevitable. Thank you. All right. And here it is. Oh, to have reverse. June 28th, 1914. Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand, mediocre band, Franz Ferdinand, and his wife were killed in Bosnia.
Archduke is just another title.
Just another title. Like archbishops, just below the foot. Oh no, just below cardinal. Sorry. Yeah, it's not a member of the nobility with bad feet. All right. By the way, that was like the third attempt to kill him during this parade route. Like somebody threw a grenade in, and they threw it back out. Somebody pulled the trigger, and the gun didn't go off. Yeah.
If you get a grenade thrown in your car, not thinking you throw it back out. Yeah, exactly. You don't take the hint of it. Like you were trying to kill him.
Well, but that's what he did try to get away, and he went down a one-way street because they didn't have reverse. They had to get out and push the car, and then they get.
Oh, so they were.
And he expected protection. And the grenade, the bomb was on the way to deliver the speech. And he called out, he said nice things about the people, and he said something to the mayor, and then leaving is when he got shot. Yeah. Because the Serbians want independence, they want freedom, they want to be out of Austria-Hungary, and he's just a freedom fighter. He's part of a group called the Black Hand, and they were Serbian nationalists. They wanted a Serbian nation, a Serbian state, and so I guess he wanted to be famous. I don't know. There he is. Well, that stopped with Kennedy. That's when it stopped with Kennedy. Even the Pope Mobile is a big dome of bulletproof glass.
Really?
Yep. Ferdinand killed by Serb nationalist Gabrios Princip, member of the Black Hand terrorist group. Well, they're a terrorist group if you're Austrian. They're freedom fighters if you're Serbian. That term is charged and that term is subjective. Sorry. All right. There he is. Looks like somebody, like Gabriel Princip. Yes.
So the Serbian nation had nothing to do with it at all.
We don't know. Like the de facto government that exists, I don't know. But this group took responsibility.
Again, it's fucking big.
Yeah, well, he's probably running. Do you consider yourself guilty? Princip, I'm not a criminal because I destroyed that which was evil. I think I am good. I'm a Slav nationalist and I believe in the unification of all South Slavs in whatever form of state, and that it be free of Austria. That was your aspiration? How did you think to realize it? By means of terror. That means, in general, to destroy from above, to do away with those who obstruct and do evil and who stand in the way of the idea of unification. Still, another principal motivation was revenge for all the torments which Austria imposed upon the people. I am the son of peasants, and I know what is happening in the villages. That is why I want to take revenge, and I regret nothing. No, I just dropped the mic. And, all right. It's the first time I've read that. I've never heard any words from him. The assassination set in motion all the chain of events. It begins with, well, I'll do the bar fight. The plunge Europe into war. Basically, Austria blamed Serbia for the death of the Archduke and made harsh demands on Serbia. Demands that they knew they could not pay. Serbia, being the smart little guy, says, hey, Russia, you must learn to fear us again, is what the Austrians wanted. So here's the ultimatum. They must modify the direction of our policy with regard to Austria-Hungary, the history, okay, blah, 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 blah. They had to stop what they were doing, and then the Serbian government had to recognize what was done and admit it was wrong. And then they had to make some sort of reparation pay as well. Okay. Well, there's nothing to do but die fighting. From the Serbian Minister of Public Information. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, who refused to meet demands July 28th.
That's just a month later.
Well, it takes a while for, paperwork. It's still regular mail back then, telegraph. Oh, wait, let's see. The Royal Serbian government not having answered in a satisfactory manner the note of the 23rd of 1914 presented by the Austrian minister, Austria-Hungary consequently considers herself henceforward in a state of war with Serbia. That's so polite. That's so nice. Since you did not answer our letter, have it thee. We're going to war. Also, remember, telegrams are expensive. It's like by the letter. So you got to get to the point, even if you're a government. Yeah.
So since Serbia was part of Austria-Hungary before this, does that mean there was like Austrian-Hungarian people in Serbia?
There may be people in Serbia loyal to Austria-Hungary.
So then,
They would have to fight against their cousins or brothers or whatever. Probably not very many. I mean, because you have to think there's a nationalist movement going on. Like, let's say South Carolina finally calls its bluff, or Texas finally calls its bluff, and secedes from the Union and makes its own country, like it was when it was first formed. Everybody who did not want to be part of Texas, I'm sure would leave before that. So I'm assuming if you did not believe in the cause, most people left. But that's a good question. All right. Russia mobilized an army to border of Hungary, preparation for war, ready to defend their Slavic ally. So Russia just calls up troops, and they're in hot standby. Oh, that's fine. I need a drink. Allergies killing me. I'm so glad it's getting excited. Just mark stuff down. Ooh. Water.
You get rid of everything?
No, it's just water.
Don't look at her.
How many taste better than water when you're?
I don't have any crack in it. I didn't put my packet in it. It's just water, flavored water. Oh. Supposed to taste like green tea, peach mango is what it's supposed to taste like. All right. No, they never not expected the taste. Like that's I wasn't expecting that taste. All right. Germany declared war on Russia and France, hoping to defeat France before Russia could mobilize and fight a two-front war. Spoiler alert. Germany and two-front wars are like a thing. So they declare war on Russia and France, and immediately they go after France to try and take them out. Kind of smart. Then they can deal with Russia. Yeah.
So Germany declared war on Russia and France.
Roughly at the same time.
Why?
Because Russia declared war on Austria, and Germany had an alliance with Austria.
Okay.
I got your back.
But nothing was happening to them. They were just mad because they were going against one of their other allies. I need like a map
I know.
or like a timeline.
So-
All the different alliances and
So far. Serbia kills Archduke. Bang. All right. Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia. Because of that, Serbia asked Russia for help. Russia then declares war on Austria-Hungary because they declared war on Serbia.
Okay.
Because Russia declared war on Austria-Hungary, Germany declares war on Russia, and just for good measure, they declare war on France.
because Germany and Austria-Hungary
Have an alliance.
Okay.
Yes. And France and Russia have one too. I'm not finished yet. There's still more to add. Okay. Notice who's not here. Okay. Oh, come on. They're having an espresso and a cigarette. They can't be bothered right now. A very good espresso, as a matter of fact. All right. Here's Germany's declaration of war with Russia. Okay, great. And here is Germany's declaration of war on France. Okay. August 3rd, Germany's invasion of France took them through neutral Belgium. That was the plan. And because Germany, put Belgium in the way here, went through Belgium to get to France, England, okay, fine. England, and you can't see him, declares war on Germany because Germany violated neutral Belgium. I mean, because, yeah, if Germany had gone right through France, England would not get involved
Until France was like,
until France was like, bro, pay up. That's right. But because they went through a neutral, non-combatant country, England's like, whoa. Dude, they got nothing in this. Stop being such a tool. So England declared war on Germany.
So
You couldn't make this stuff up. What?
That's such a waste. Like, why?
Kind of seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you say-
And why would they go through Belgium though? Like it's just extra distance.
They went through Belgium because they didn't think there'd be as much resistance because it's a neutral country. Okay, and it's flat.
But they thought, wait, they're like artillery, like all on the.
That's World War II. With the whole Maginot Line and all that stuff. Yeah.
If they knew that, I mean, didn't they know that Christopher Columbus was gonna make
They thought they'd be through Belgium fast. They really thought that they'd be through Belgium fast enough. What they didn't expect was resistance, and the Belgians put up resistance. Because, dude, get off my lawn. Get off my property now. Okay, so it just took longer, and England's like, all right, that's fine. But now think about everything else that's in motion now. Hold on, but wait, there's more. Okay, come on, play nice.
It kind of just seems like Britain was looking for a reason. to
They were
do it.
all looking for a reason. They didn't want to do it. They were waiting for somebody. Nobody wanted to go first. It's like an 8th grade dance. Somebody go on the floor, please. All right. Any questions out here? Or are y'all just laughing at me? All right. Germany to Belgium. Oh, this is great. Okay. So, let me see. Reliable information has been received that French forces intend to march through Belgian territory against Germany. The German government cannot but fear that Belgium will be unable, without assistance, to repel so considerable a French invasion. It is essential for the self-defense of Germany that she should anticipate any such hostile attack. If Belgium adopts a friendly attitude, Germany is prepared to pay for any damage caused by German troops. Should Belgium neutrality, moreover, if Belgian neutrality should be violated by France, Belgium intends to the most vigorous resistance to the invader.
They're trying to make.
Well, what they're doing is they're giving themselves a justification to invade Belgium by saying, hey, we heard France is coming. We have to protect ourselves. They made it up. Yes, they wanted an excuse. Yeah.
What was the Belgian culture? Like, what were they previously part of?
They're closer to France than Germany. They're Flemish and they're, it's 2 languages. No. Yeah. Flemish and Walloon?
Yeah.
Walloon, yeah. All right, British declaration of war on Germany. Owing to the rejection by the German government of the request made by His Majesty's government for assurances that the neutrality of Belgium would be respected, His Majesty's government has declared to the German government that a state of war exists between Great Britain and Germany as from 11 p.m. August 4th. Crash course, World War I. World War I. All right, so basically, this is everywhere involved in the war. Pretty much. Both countries fight on the side of the Allies. India provides 1.3 million men to fight and labor alongside their British rulers. The European colonies throughout Africa become battlefields as warring parties strike at one another in Africa. Japan declares war on Germany in 1914, seizes German colonies in China and the Pacific. It's like, see, telling you, man, impressive. Japan's from 1870 to 1914 or 1858. That's pretty impressive. War rages in Southwest Asia. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, it's not the Middle East yet because we haven't made those anyway. As Arab nationalists battle their Turkish rulers, and that's when we get Lawrence of Arabia and all that kind of stuff. And Britain promised them independence, and then oops, they found oil. Main fighting of the war occurs in the eastern and western fronts. The United States enters the war in 1917. Brazil is the only South American country to enter the war. It supports the Allies with warships and personnel. Did not know that. I'm assuming because it ties to Portugal? Don't know. Yes, sir. See, you people with these, like,
You really look like you.
like you're going to ask a good one. All right. Also known as the Great War, the war, and I said all that already. It was the first war to encompass more than half the world. Okay, you know that. Okay. Great War began a 30-year era of conflict that included both world wars that resulted in about 100 million casualties. A small town in China. All right, there you go. Cardiovascular disease. Oh, these are all the deaths in the 20th century.
Oh.
Non-communicable diseases, 1,970 million.
So with humanity, does that mean more?
Gotta be. Cancers, infectious diseases, health complications, cardiovascular disease. We eat garbage. All right.
But would we go back to the slide?
That's war.
Almost a billion people died of war.
No, 100 million people died in war.
Oh, that's.
That's where.
I thought humanity.
Yeah, that's all of humanity. I guess. I need it bigger.
Billion.
I need it bigger. Okay. And then this shows you global deaths in conflict since the year 1400. First Anglo-Dutch War. Wow. Okay. 30 years war, but then again, they had 30 years to accumulate death. The Napoleonic Wars, First World War, the Second World War. Look at where the genocide of the Jews is relative to other wars.
I mean, based on how many deaths.
Yeah. Yeah. Crimean War, American Civil War, Austrian Succession. There's the 7 Years' War. And then others, just all these others. All right.
What's Civil War?
Civil War, sorry. All right. Yeah.
What are the big ones up to?
30 Years' War, First World War, Second World War.
Was the genocide of the Jews the Holocaust?
Yeah.
Why isn't that like semi-included in the World War II? Even though it's so small, but
Because
Like
we have
it's
so
a
many people,
direct-
they just have to make it.
okay.
Yeah, and part of it is for stats, and part of it is because you could make the assertion. This is a good question. Why is this, since it happened in World War II, not part of the World War II circle? You might be able to make the assertion if you've researched hard enough that if the Germans hadn't fired a shot, they still wanted to do that. If Germany hadn't started a war,
They would still.
they'd still want to get rid of the Jews.
But would they have done it in that?
Well, the only reason they started doing it that way,
It wasn't already.
no, it probably would have been slower. It would have been slow.
And would it have probably still been stopped at the same time or no?
No, because if we're not at war and over there, if we don't liberate these countries and find the camps, we have no idea what's going on. And unfortunately, there are people in America who wouldn't care. Remember, we turned the ship away. The USS St. Louis came across the United States full of Jews fleeing Europe, and we said no, and sent them back to Europe in 1938. Yeah. Remember, up until like 1950, the Pope did not come out and say Jews didn't kill Jesus. It took until the 50s where the Catholic Church finally said it wasn't the Jews. So, anyway, all right. Religions, and then you wonder why France and Europe has this thing with religion. Central powers, allied powers, neutral. Well, war may come to them. They're not going to the war. Central powers include Germany, Austria-Hungary, Bulgaria. Way to go, Bulgars. This is one. Still one. Still one. World War II is next Thursday. The Allied powers were 28 nations. Basically, all these countries and all their colonies. Or former colonies, like Australia, New Zealand, Canada. Eh?
And this must be later in the war because it was out.
They switch sides when they realize it's not going. Yeah, Italy joins later. They switch sides. They realize it's not going well. Some of the nastiest and just dirtiest fighting in the entire war was done in the Alps. There were tunnelers who their sole purpose was to dig and blow up the other tunnel. Like there was so much underground war in this war. This war, I'm telling you, it's fascinating.
Battlefield
So
1
awful.
is such a good video game.
What?
How I know about this more.
What game?
Battlefield 1.
Oh, okay.
That sounds so awful, but it's like tunneling through the Alps, it's like 10 degrees and you.
Or just fighting in the Alps, just whole armies in the Alps. New technologies, dynamite. Again, invented by a guy from the Nobel Prize, his name. Machine guns, tanks, submarines, planes, poison gas, which is also outlawed. And industrialization made this war very destructive. You have new technology and old strategy. You have all these weapons to make killing more efficient, and we're still going to march at you in a straight line. The generals were old and tired and thought they could just throw men at it and we just wear them out. Yeah.
There was no strategy towards the end.
Pardon?
There was like no strategy towards the end.
Yeah, because because their soldiers were leaving. Because they wanted it to end. They're like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Well, plus then the tank came, which was, I mean, more theatrical than anything else. But yeah, strategy changed a little bit. So we had airplanes and dirigibles. What?
Isn't that like a, there's like a Zeppelin and another Zeppelin there called
A dirigible and Zeppelin are the same thing. Flying, it's a, yeah. It's a blend.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they filled it with hydrogen. And then they realized not a good idea. Oh, yeah. Hydrogen. And then there was the Hindenburg. And they're like, you know what? How about something a little more inert? They went to nitrogen. Again, that's why, yeah.
I've always been confused about like, where are the people? Are they in this?
That is a little, haven't you not seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? The third one with Sean Connery?
Okay.
The pilots are there and the passengers are there. Well, when they have passenger ones, the passengers are there.
That's probably
Nothing but air and propellers.
So it's a giant.
It's a giant hot air balloon with propellers to push it along. It was going to revolutionize air travel, they thought, and then Hindenburg.
Didn't some of them also have like planes attached to them, like
They
Wow.
were mostly bombs.
Yes.
Yep.
They had big turrets on top of them too that you could shoot.
Artillery is new during this time period, and like big ones that could shoot across the English Channel eventually.
What was that one in World War II?
Big Bertha?
What's like a mile long? Something like-
Okay, I want you to stop and think. About the physics of a mile-long tube. All right. Yes. More artillery they thought would just soften the trenches, and they just realized they just learned to build better trenches. More artillery. Those are big guns. Battleships and submarines, the dreadnought, the submarine. Submarines, until we go nuclear, are really just ships that can go underwater. They spend most of their time on the surface because what you have is a diesel engine, big train locomotive engine, and it runs and it charges this huge battery, like a 400-cell battery. Then you go underwater and you run on battery power. But you got to come up and change the battery. So once we had, a nuclear reactor in the middle of our boat and didn't have to come up and charge the battery, we could stay underwater forever. Well, 7 years. About 7. The only thing limiting how long submarines stay underwater today is the amount of food. But we can make our own water, we make our own air, and the core is good for 7 years. Yeah.
How long do most people like, if you're on the submarine, how long do you usually stay under?
Depends on the boat. That's a horrible answer. If you're on a missile boat, you're like 78 straight days underwater, then you come up and you're off for 3 months, and then you go back under for 78 days. If you're on an attack boat, usually weeks, then you pull in, and you go back out to sea for weeks, and you pull in, and then
Okay.
fast. Submarine killer. Yeah. Going after targets. That's what we call the rest of the Navy. There's submarines and there's targets. All right. And then finally, tanks. They were bad, yeah. But again, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, I could almost use that movie. 1916, that's all there were. 1917, 1918, whoops. But they didn't have any. Italy had six tanks.
Even in World War II, it was 4,000.
6 tanks. Yeah, France has 4,000 tanks. All right. And then poison gas, which was used for the first time at the Second Battle of Ypres, I believe. It's spelled Ypres. Now it's Ypres. I'm not Belgian. and the wind changed directions.
Oh my God.
So the Germans used it, and the wind changed directions, and they got the Germans.
No.
There's a little karma right there. All right. And the machine gun, which everybody had in large quantity. And there you go. Those are the causes in the early stages of World War I. Now, really quickly before I let you go, I want to go ahead and read the bar fight because it's really cool. All right, so.
What's the point of even making 16s? Against 1,000?
Well, it depends on what you use them for, I guess. You know what I mean?
Just saving them in the back.
Probably maybe protecting the Pope. Yeah. Yeah.
And all of a sudden 4,005 norms. Couldn't imagine what that would look like. That's a lot of stuff. I just said maybe it's like the one thing. So it's just the captain movie, like this one. It's all but like there's
Where is it? There we go. All right. Because we dropped it off. Is this all Pinterest? It's gonna be blocked. All right.
You just make like a huge bump on it.
So here we go. I'll read this to you. Germany, Austria, Italy are standing together in the middle of a pub when Serbia bumps into Austria and spills Austria's pint.
Not good.
Austria demands Serbia buy a completely new suit because there are splashes on its trouser leg. Germany expresses its support for Austria's point of view. Britain recommends that everybody calm down a bit. Huh?
You're muted.
Not on the water though. He's only gonna be here on.
Oh, okay, you're not.
Serbia points out it can't afford a whole suit, but offers to pay for the cleaning of Austria's trousers. Russia and Serbia look at Austria. Austria asks Serbia who it's looking at. Russia suggests that Austria leave its little brother alone. Austria inquires as to whose army will assist Russia in compelling it to do so. Germany appeals to Britain that France has been looking at it and that this is sufficiently out of order that Britain should not interfere. Britain replies that France can look at who it wants to, and that Britain is looking at Germany too, and what's Germany going to do about it? Germany tells Russia stop looking at Austria, or Germany will render Russia incapable of such action. Britain and France ask Germany whether it's looking at Belgium. Turkey and Germany go off in a corner and whisper. When they come back, Turkey makes a show of not looking at anyone. Germany rolls up its sleeve, looks at France, punches Belgium. France and Britain punch Germany. Austria punches Russia. Germany punches Britain and France with one hand, Russia with the other. Russia throws a punch at Germany but misses and nearly falls over. Japan calls from the other side of the room that it's on Britain's side, but stays there. Italy surprises everyone by punching Austria. Australia punches Turkey and it gets punched back. There are no hard feelings because Britain made Australia do it. France gets thrown through a plate glass window, but gets back up and carries on fighting. Russia gets thrown through another one, gets knocked out, suffers brain damage, and wakes up with a complete personality change. Italy throws a punch at Austria and misses, but Austria falls over anyway. Italy raises both fists in the room, runs around chanting. America waits until Germany is about to fall over from sustained punching from Britain and France, then walks over and smashes it with a bar stool, then pretends it won the fight all by itself.
That was just like in there.
By now, all the chairs are broken and the big mirror over the bar is shattered. Britain, France, and America agree that Germany threw the first punch, so the whole thing is Germany's fault. While Germany is still unconscious, they go through its pockets, steal its wallet, and buy drinks for all their friends. World War I is a black night. We'll get to that later. All right, everybody.